The dirty secret about indie writing advice. Yep, that's the title of today's video. And I'm going to tell you why that's the title. It is my opinion that most indie writing advice really misses the point and doesn't really explain and set up the reality of indie writing and self-publishing as it stands today. So let me come at you with a few facts. In the 3 million books published last year, approximately by Amazon, less than 1% of those books sold anywhere near 5,000 copies. That's a stunning number for that big volume of books. And those were all books. Here's something else for you. Less than 1%, far less than 1% of all indie writers make enough money to write as their living wages. It is not an easy task. There are no easy, quick steps to success as an indie writer. And I want to break this down with a few more facts. You can go on YouTube and other places and you can find all sorts of advice. If you want indie writing advice, you can be yelled at, you can be talked down to, you can be told all sorts of things that the advice will magically give you, so on and so forth. And look, if that's what you need, if those things actually help you, because a lot of the channels that are doing that work are very successful, a lot of views, growth, that's fine. I will tell you that if that works, that's fine. But the dirty secret that lies behind, I think, everything I see on indie writing advice is just this. You have a mountain to climb. And that is not to be negative at all, because I want to tell you, I am an invisible, unknown, absolutely struggling indie writer and self-published author. And I love doing it. I absolutely love these books. I have published, self-published, 7 books. And I love every one of them. And I'm really excited about book 8 that we're writing at the moment. In the beginning, when I published A Backwards Glance, my very first book, it sold around 1,000 copies. Boy, was I excited. I'm telling you, launch, debut novel. To me, that was huge. When I launched or wrote Who Killed Glenna, it sold less than half of the same number of copies. Reality check set in. The newness that I had, the bloom was off the rose, as they say. It was reality time. And not much improved in any of the books. Here's another fact. My most recent book, Kill 'Em All, the best writing I have ever done, is one of my worst selling books. By far, right there at the bottom. How do you explain that? I've done basically the same steps through each and every one of them. Let me tell you what those steps are. I purchased ads on Google. I purchased ads on Amazon KDP. I've run free book promotions. I have a really solid social media position. I start by launching the project. I keep people updated with excerpts. I get them prepared for the book launch by telling them, hey, get ready to spend your money on my book. Then I launch it with as much fanfare through local media or any media I can find, talking to groups, going out and making myself public, which at times is a little bit iffy. You have to do those things. I've done it through all 7 of them, and the sales from book 1 have never gone beyond. The sales after book 1 have never gone past that book. That's a reality check, and it could be the end of my writing if I looked at it in a negative way. But here's my point. I have to understand the playing field. I'm a former athlete, and you have to understand, heart is really important when you're playing sports, especially football. And I always had a big heart. I wasn't a huge guy. I wasn't all that quick, fairly strong, but really had the heart to play. Well, when I played in high school, that mattered. It made a big difference. When my roommate and I went off to play college football, those things were overshadowed by size, strength, and speed, and actual knowledge and skill of how to perform at your position. We were wholly unprepared, and we didn't last very long, and it was kind of crushing. Maybe I learned something from that experience. Maybe I have learned over the course of my life to manage my expectations. But I will tell you, when book one sold 1,000 copies, you can't help but hope and dream for it to be good or better the next book. It doesn't work out that way sometimes. Let's get back to the main point about what I believe indie writing advice today leaves off. It leaves off the fact that you're going to do isolated, hard work that not a lot of people have the discipline and the ability and the creativity to do. And remember that word solitary, you're a team of one, typically. If you realize the challenge that's in front of you and you go through these steps, you do a great bit of research. You do a really solid outline. Solid for your style is what I mean. You edit, you rewrite, you continue to write consistently. Then you come back and you revise the whole thing over and over and over. You show amazing discipline with your work. You write consistently. You put your butt in a chair like this and you get your laptop or whatever you use and you write and you edit and you rewrite and you revise. When you finish that, when you finish it to the point that you've done everything you can to have the best manuscript you possibly can make, can create, can review, send it to a professional editor. There's nothing else. There's no excuses. You're not going to sell me. I'm not going to sell you on self-editing. No, we can't self-edit our own work. We wrote it. Our mind is advanced as we look at it. A professional editor does editing. They don't do reading. They don't do reviewing their own work. They edit your work. It's a huge difference. And trust me, I've tried it both ways. It's a huge difference. Pay for self-editing. That's just a given. The next thing is this. Make sure that you go out and you find a cover designer. Don't waste your time. Don't put together a weak cover from any of the sources out there. I have done that as well. It makes a really big difference. Now, in the sales numbers, maybe I'm giving you a little bit of a conflict here. You said the sales numbers weren't that great for any of this. They weren't that great, but there's a distinct difference in each of those things. Editing and professional covers is a marker in sales. It is where you can see it in the results. You're just going to have to understand that. And if you want to test it, that's up to you. I mean, you can do that. You can find out on your own. I'm just trying to give you some basic insight here that will cut that process in half maybe. Get professional editing and get a professional cover. Save your money, borrow the money, do anything you have. Don't lessen your book with anything not professional in the editing and cover side. On the promotional side, I talked to you about promotions. Look, I'm never going to run another free book promotion. I have learned that giving my book away doesn't profit me in any way. It doesn't build that massive following of people talking about your books. It's just giving your book away. I recommend you don't do it. But the thing that I absolutely recommend the most is this. Don't pay anybody to publish your book. Don't take advantage of the $199 special, the $389 special, the $499 special. Do not do that. I can just tell you, you can do it. If I can self-publish one book, much less 7, anyone in this world can figure it out. Now, I've got a lot of help. I've had a lot of people really sit down and walk me through this process. The first one was tough. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. Don't waste your money. Spend your money on editing and covers and other things. Now, the thing that I have done, I think pretty well, I said earlier, was social media. Get yourself involved in the social media side early on in your writing. Build a following. Go, if you use Amazon KDP, get to the author page, do a jam up job. Write about yourself as well as you write about your subjects. Seems logical, doesn't it? Sometimes we just don't do it. I didn't do it to begin with, and I didn't even understand that. The basics of writing, the basics of self-publishing, the basics of how to write, publish, and promote your book are very difficult. There's long odds against success. Many of us buy lotto tickets. Long odds of success there. Lotto tickets are, in my mind, are cheap fantasy. Maybe writing a book isn't quite as cheap because you have to spend an awful lot of time. You have to invest yourself pretty deeply. But it is maybe a lottery. Maybe you can write that great book that will be discovered, that will be found. What it is, in my mind, is hope. It's a belief that you can write better. If your first through 10th book don't sell, you get very little results. I would tell you don't quit. You've already invested an awful lot of time. You've learned an awful lot. Keep on writing. You're probably going to get a lot better. My other advice is this: don't ever waste your money, and don't ever go chasing after a magic solution. There are none. No one can tell you how to write. They can give you advice about the basics. That's what I do in my writing community here at Sid Mickle Publications. Let me give you a real world example. My book number 8 here is a Civil War fictional book. It's the first book in a 2-part series. And on this YouTube channel, we're doing a 1 through 10 video series about that project. And I am asking people to participate with me, to collaborate in the writing of this book. And I have a few people who are interested, a few people who want to update, want to give you information. A couple of the tips I've gotten have been fantastic. They have helped me a lot. Others haven't mattered as much, but I absolutely appreciate that anyone in this YouTube world wants to join me in this small community. The best writing advice that you will ever get on this planet, in my mind, is this: understand the basics of writing. To do that to its fullest, find a writing community or a writing advice voice that speaks about basics and wants to have you in a writing community. A community that is respectful, that is not dogging people for simple questions. We all don't know every answer to begin with. Actually, we don't know every answer ever. I certainly don't. I'm learning from people who are collaborating with me, and I have the YouTube channel. That's reality. If you want really good advice, find a great writing community. Find people of the like-mindedness you are and work together. Make sure that you can bounce things off of people, that they are responsive. And in order to do that, you're going to have to find a writing community that isn't interested in selling mentorships or selling classes or selling advice packages. Or if you write into here, you can get the secret to the video that I posted for free. That is not what I'm doing. Now, if people are out there doing that, which they are, and they're successful, that's just fine. They're entrepreneurs. They are running their business. I don't want to do that, and I am offering an alternative to that. You can come to Sid Mickle Publications and join our writing community for free, and we are going to listen, and we're going to not be hard on people. We're not going to be negative and nasty to people. We want to know about your project, and we want to talk to you about your project, and we want you to know our project and talk to us about our project as well. That's just a simple reality. Sometimes you've just got to cut through the clutter. Sometimes you just have to avoid all the noise. I said this, I have 3 YouTube channels. None of these YouTube channels have great size. I really expected with 1,500 subscribers to have more success with this channel. Manage your expectations. It's not there yet. Maybe it will be. Maybe the other channels will have success. What you have to understand is, just like in your writing, be true to who you are. No pile of words, no advice. Turn this switch on, turn this switch off. Leave your video private for 72 hours. Don't leave your video private ever. It's just a giant circle of words. Do what you believe in. Be yourself. Do your research and find writing advice, find YouTube advice, find any advice that fits your style and makes sense to you. What I always believe is, when you find that mentoring kind of voice, or you find that advice that helps, you feel it. It kind of gets into you a little bit, and it's the connection. And I think connections are very real. I don't think you can force them. Sometimes you go a long time before you find the right connection. Maybe that's what I'm going through right now. Maybe I'm going through a long spell of finding the right connection to an audience. And that's not to knock our small audience. Man, I'll tell you, I appreciate every one of our small audience participants. They keep me going. I enjoy writing, and I enjoy the YouTube side of talking about writing. So until we get back together in a week or so, I hope this video has mattered to you. It was never meant to be negative. It is not a negative conversation when you speak about reality. Indie writing is a challenge. Long odds. You have to love writing, and you have to wait on everything else. That's just really the way it is. If you love what you do, you'll keep doing it. And I hope you do, and hope you will. So like I say, until next week when we come back, we will hopefully next week or the week after give you an update on the book. I'm working diligently to get to that midpoint and kind of give an update. So we'll see how that works out. But until then, I hope everybody has a great and fun week. The world today is a little turbulent. There's always bad news, it seems like nowadays. Go out, spend some time with your friends and your family. Give them a hug. You might need it and they might need it. It will definitely be the best part of your week. But when we get back together again next week, we'll try to figure out more ways to write better and be more successful. And until then, take care of yourselves. We will see you again soon. Bye-bye.